The Emmy nominations are almost here, and I've been following this Emmy season quite a bit, so I decided I should share my predictions and also my thoughts on the shows I have on seeing here, because I have seen quite a bit of the shows that I are predicted to be nominated for drama and comedy series. Limited I'm kind of lacking in, but also I'll probably catch up once we actually know what is getting nominated, because that's an interesting category right now. But let's start off with drama series. And for drama, I feel very, very confident in the 8 nominees I have. We have Succession is obviously, even though the nominations haven't happened, it's already winning. Season 2 and Season 3 won. And this season is the final season of the show, and it's the most acclaimed season of the show. It's going to be Succession, and I'm 100% okay with it. Succession is one of my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time, and this is my favorite season of the show, one of my favorite seasons of TV, so I'm totally fine with it. But it is interesting, even though how much I love Succession season 4, it is crazy that there is one that's super close, that I may even like more than Succession, and that is Better Call season 6 season 6B. And I feel like if this is the full season of season 6, even though I do like this second half more than the first half, I feel like if it's the full season versus the full season of Succession season 4, I might actually say I prefer Better Call Saul season 6, but it is kind of weird with it being split in 2. I feel like it kind of hurts it for my choices with it. But this is both of the shows are 2 of my absolute favorite shows, and they both ended on an absolutely amazing mark. Any show is going to beat the final season of Better Call Saul, I am fine with it being Succession, because I think it's equally as good. And then the other nominees, The White Lotus, obviously getting a nomination. This is one of the ones I haven't seen, but I do plan on watching it before the actual Emmy ceremony. And it won limited series, but now it's switching here to drama series for season 2, so I feel like it's definitely getting a nomination. And then The Last of Us, also easily getting a nomination. It's probably the most popular show out of all of these, and it's also one of the most acclaimed shows of the year. It's amazing. I love The Last of Us, just such a well done show, and I think it's very deserving of getting the drama series nomination. And then we have Yellow Jackets season 2. I am halfway through season 2. I was a big fan of season 1, and it seems like people are generally saying season 2 is a bit of a step down. It's still well liked, but a bit of a step down. And from where I'm at in this season, I'm yeah, I can see that. I'm not liking it quite as much as season 1, but it still is really good. And we'll see once I finish the season if my thoughts change and stuff. But yeah, and then we have The Crown, which is an interesting one. This is the other one I haven't seen. I don't know if I'm going to see it, because it's 5 seasons, and I don't know if I'll have time to catch up before the Emmys with all the other stuff I'm trying to watch. And also I heard season 5 is easily the weakest season, critically, audience-wise, it's the least viewed season, all around, The Crown, it seems like this is the weakest The Crown has ever been from pretty much everyone. So that's why it's kind of weird, because The Crown season 4, its last season, won this category, so you'd think it could be in the competition for winning, but I just feel like it won't be. But I feel like because it is The Crown and it's never missed yet, and it still has the actors that they're going to nominate in the technical categories, I still feel like it gets in, even though this is considered the weakest season. But maybe this could be a snub, but it's hard to tell. And then we also have Andor and House of the Dragon in these last 2 spots here that I have. And these ones, I'm a little nervous, just because of the type of show they are. You can never know. The Emmys does go for types of shows like this, and honestly, they're better than the Oscars for going for genre shows, which I do really like. But I feel like there's a little bit of nervousness there, but I do think both are getting in, because I feel like this 8 just feels locked in, and I really hope Andor and House of the Dragon do, because I think they're both amazing. Some of my favorite TV shows of last year. Andor sort of taken the Star Wars spot for The Mandalorian, when seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian did get nominated, but I do not think The Mandalorian season 3 is getting nominated, because The Mandalorian season 3 is not good, and I'm someone who loves season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. Season 3 is just bad, and it also just doesn't seem to have nearly as many people talking about it. I feel like when the first 2 seasons came out, they were like this big cultural thing. No one's talking about season 3. It's just not gonna happen. So yeah, those 8 I do feel locked in with. But it is kind of weird that there are 4 of the shows, like literally half the lineup is from HBO. But when you look down at the 4 HBO shows, like, I feel like they're all getting in, you know? Succession, White Lotus, obviously. The Last of Us, obviously. House of the Dragon is a spin-off of Game of Thrones, which is like won like some of the most, I'm pretty sure the most Emmys out of like any show, and is like, you know, like, it's a really well-liked show too, really popular. Like, why would the House of Dragon not get in? It didn't perform as well as I thought it would at the Guild, which made me a little nervous, but it still won the Golden Globe drama, and I still feel like there's, with it being the Emmys and like with how much they liked Game of Thrones and like how this still has stuff, it's definitely gonna get tech noms, probably some actor noms. Like, how does House of the Dragon miss? And especially when you look at the other shows that, like, especially if you look on Gold Derby, the other shows people have like outside of the top 8, this is the top 8 of Gold Derby. I agree with them here. Like, Bad Sisters is like, yeah, it's pretty critically acclaimed, but like no one's seen it, and it's not like all these rest of the shows besides The Crown are also critically acclaimed. So like, I don't know, I don't see it happening. I don't see Yellowstone happening because it's literally only gotten 1 Emmy nomination ever for just like production design. They clearly don't care about Yellowstone. Like, I feel like these 8 are locked in. And then we have comedy series, and this one, I feel like there's 5 easy locks. 6 I'm pretty confident in. In the last 2 spots, ooh, I switch around a lot. So the 5 locks are actually the 5 of my predicted nominees that I have seen. And it's interesting because it's sort of like the same top 5 last year, except you're switching out Hacks for The Bear. But yeah, Ted Lasso, Abbott Elementary, The Bear, I feel like are the top 3 in winning competition. And then Barry, season 4, I don't think is going to win, which is very sad because it's my favorite of these seasons. And then Only Murders in the Building, I don't think it's going to win, but both of the Barry and Only Murders are obviously getting nominated. And then for the win, Ted Lasso season 1 and 2 won, but this season is the weakest season of the show. I still think it's really good. I feel like they pulled off a really good ending, especially in those last few episodes. So I feel like they still could go for it, because even though it's like there's weaker moments in like easily the weakest season of the show, I still feel like it still is good. So I'm like, maybe they do go for it still. And then Abbott Elementary, they could go for it. I feel like it's on the same like level season 1, maybe a little bit better, but I feel like it's great. But I don't know if they're gonna like go for it as like are we gonna have enough people like voting as their absolute favorite, or is it just one of those that like everyone loves Abbott Elementary, but enough people gonna like love Abbott Elementary to have it as like, you know, win. And then The Bear, I honestly think the thing that was hurting this was it not really being a comedy. I feel like it's a lot more drama than comedy, but it's in this category, and you know, I guess it's enough of a comedy that, you know, whatever, it makes sense. The way they split up the categories can be weird sometimes, but I think the thing that's going to help it is season 2 just premiered while the Emmy voters were voting, and season 2 had so much buzz, like a lot more buzz than season 1, and is even better than season 1. Like, it's my second favorite TV show of this year so far, besides Succession. Like, I love The Bear season 2, and I feel like people like with all the hype around Bear season 2 will help The Bear season 1 even rise. And I still do love The Bear season 1. I want to like clarify that, but season 2 just like took it to the next level. And if you think about it, like with The Bear season 1, be like, oh man, like I love that show and stuff. And out of the 3 that could win, I preferred The Bear season 1 over Abbott Elementary and Ted Lasso. So I'd be very happy if it won, and I feel like it maybe could, but we'll see. And then the other ones outside of the top 5, the one that I'm pretty confident getting nominated is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's its final season. It's not its like most acclaimed season or whatever, but it still seemed like most people were satisfied with the ending. I haven't seen it, but that's what I saw online. So I feel like that's going to get a nomination. The final 2 spots are kind of weird. You have kind of 4 shows that I think could get in. Wednesday, not the most critically acclaimed show, but extremely, extremely popular. Netflix is going to campaign it a lot. And you have like Jenna Ortega is probably going to get nominated for comedy actor, so that helps it out there. So maybe Wednesday gets in. I think that's what I'm going to have in, just because of how popular it is. And it is like liked. even though it's not like loved, it still is like, you know, liked. So I feel like from like creating like this, I feel like you could just like get in with that. And then you have Poker Face, which is, you know, from Ryan Johnson. It's, you know, it's a well-reviewed show. I think the thing holding it back is just viewership with it being on Peacock, which doesn't really seem like they're really campaigning and like, you know, are not really good at creating buzz, because I feel like now no one watches Peacock originals, you know? And I guess we'll see though, because this will be like a first year where Peacock actually has shows that are like actually have a chance. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Peacock is like actually good at campaigning, and I just didn't know. But I feel like that's the main thing holding us back. And then Shrinking, I feel like could get in. It is well liked, and Apple TV is good at campaigning, but it also could not get in. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised if it doesn't. And then What We Do in the Shadows. This show hasn't been nominated for all its seasons, but it has gotten nominated for comedy series multiple times. I think 2 out of the 4 seasons were nominated, so that's pretty good. So I think I'm actually going to put it in there because it normally slips its way in there, and I feel like the writing branch especially likes it, and it like can get nominated for writing a lot, and I feel like I can just see it just like sort of slip in there. But also because it's, even when it gets nominated, it's clear that it wasn't like in the winning competition or anything. It could be one that just this year just doesn't get in, because it does have a bit of competition with Shrinking and Poker Face and Wednesday. So we'll see. Limited is very weird because I only am confident in like 2 of these shows getting nominated, and that is Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, and Beef. Those are both Netflix. Definitely the 2, I'd say like the 2 most viewed of all these limited series, especially Monster. And I feel like that's going to help Monster, because not the most critically liked show at all, but it was super popular, and there are people who do really like it. It's like a divisive show, but I feel like the people who like it can get it in there, and just like there is like Evan Peters is probably going to be like competitive for winning that. So I feel like there's enough things that like get it in here, even though it's like not as well reviewed. And then Beef, I feel like is easily getting in there. Super like acclaimed show, and has a lot of buzz. I can see it winning, and I do hope it wins, because that's the one of the limited series. Well, we'll see if I watch the others, but Beef is the one of the limited series I have seen so far, and I'm a big fan of it. I think it's an amazing show, so I'd be happy with that. And then the other ones, I think after that, I'm honestly pretty confident Blackbird. It was very well acclaimed show on Apple TV, has like some actors that I think are definitely going to get nominated. So I feel like Blackbird, I'm feeling pretty safe. The other 2 spots are kind of weird. I think because we had some shows that I thought were like, ooh, this could be like limited series contenders, like Love and Death and White House Plumbers, and then they ended up being just not very good, like not really well liked shows. So I feel like I don't really see them getting in, even though they had those big cast and like had some like buzz before they came out. Since they came out, the buzz sort of died off. So I think it's between, I honestly think Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm feeling like Amazon doesn't really have too many things it's campaigning in drama or comedy, so like they might pay quite a bit into this. And it was honestly like, you know, probably the most watched show except the 2 Netflix ones. It seemed like it was quite a popular show. Not did do super well with critics, but did really well with audiences. So I feel like that's going to get in. And then I have Fishman in Trouble, which is kind of like the not as seen but still critically acclaimed pick. I could also see it being George and Tammy, because it has Michael Shannon and Jessica Chastain in like those lead roles. Jessica Chastain could like win the Emmy for this. So I feel like even though that's not as much of a love show, it could happen. Okay, now I'm gonna go and talk about the acting categories for a little bit. I'm not gonna talk too much about the limited series actors, because I don't really know what's gonna happen there. I feel like there's a couple locks, but lots of things I don't know and haven't seen enough of them to like really have anything to say. But for drama actors, I think the lead actor category is actually very stacked. Well, especially because, you know, we have 3 Succession guys in it, and I feel like all 3 of them are going to get nominated. I feel like Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin are going to win the whole thing. It's going to be interesting. I hope it's Kieran Culkin because Jeremy Strong already had won for season 2, and I really want Kieran Culkin to like get a win. I wouldn't be mad if Jeremy Strong won because they're both like incredible, but I feel like Kieran Culkin, this was his best work in the show, and I feel like it would make sense if he wins. So I think that's actually gonna happen. And Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul. It's really sad that he'll probably never get an Emmy for portraying Saul Goodman, which is, yeah, that's really sad just because of how incredible he is in the role, but he's definitely getting nominated. And then we have Pedro Pascal. I feel like that's a very safe bet for getting nominated. He's amazing. And then the final spot is a bit interesting. I think it's going to go to Jeff Bridges for The Old Man. The Old Man isn't as big of a competitor in like drama series and stuff, but I feel like it's Jeff Bridges, a lot of like love for this performance. So I feel like that's gonna get in, which is kind of sad because of like how many, like there's a couple performances that I would love to have got nominated that I don't think are gonna happen because of that, like Patty Considine in House of the Dragon. I think that's the best performance of the show, and it's actually the only one of the main 3 characters that I'm not predicting. And then also Diego Luna in Andor is really good, and you know, maybe that could be a surprise thing, but I think even though Andor's like in series, I don't think people are like, oh, we need to give him an Emmy for his performance, even though it is really good. And then in drama actress, honestly, not looking quite as stacked, but still some really great performances in here. I feel like Sarah Snook already has gotten this Emmy on lock. She's moving to lead, but actually I think that's really helped because Jennifer Coolidge was her biggest competition and she's in supporting. So I feel like she's now easily going to go away with this Emmy, and it is going to be 100% deserved because what she does in Succession is incredible. And then also in feeling like Melanie Linsky is going to get nominated for Yellow Jackets. That's just a pretty easy nom. Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us, definitely going to happen. And then I have Amanda Staunton in The Crown. Can't say anything about this performance because I haven't seen the show. And then I have Emma D'Arcy in House of the Dragon, which I feel like could maybe not get this nomination, especially because Emma D'Arcy's only in 4 out of the 10 episodes, which is kind of weird to be nominated and lead like that, but it does make sense because like Rhaenyra is the main character, so like it's just weird. But I think it would be very good nomination, but I feel like there is a way that they don't go for it, but I am predicting them for now. And then we have the final spot. Right now I'm going with Elizabeth Moss in The Handmaid's Tale. Even though The Handmaid's Tale isn't nearly the Emmy darling it once was in like the earlier seasons, she's just been won multiple times for this role, gets nominated a lot. Like I feel like it's still gonna happen. The voters are still gonna just like check off Elizabeth Moss, even though they're not as big a fan of the show anymore. Supporting actress, I feel like this is Jennifer Coolidge easily gonna win this. And then I feel pretty confident in most of the other nominations except that last spot, but I don't really know who else would get nominated, so I'm gonna go with it for now, but we'll see. And then supporting actor, I think this is easily Matthew McFadden's to win. It's interesting, I got 4 Succession guys in here, but I feel like all of them are gonna happen, and I think all of them would be very deserving nominations. And then yeah, I feel confident on most of these. Maybe John Lithgow in The Old Man, I'm not as confident. I feel like they could maybe go for Jonathan Banks in Better Call Saul, which would feel weird to me because he does like pretty much nothing in these 6 episodes of Better Call Saul that are eligible. Like, don't get me wrong, he delivers an amazing performance throughout the show, but in these specific 6 episodes, he's only in 3 of them. And one of them, like, he's just in one scene. Like, there's only 2 episodes where he's, like, actually in, and he doesn't have too many, like, scenes where he's, like, really does much. So that'd be kind of weird nomination. I would love Stellan Skarsgård for Andor to get a nomination, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But that would be cool if you have Alexander and Stellan Skarsgård nominated, like, the father and son both nominated. That'd be pretty cool. Lead actress in a comedy series, I feel confident in 4 out of 5 of these. Natasha Lyonne, I feel like if Poker Face doesn't get in series, I feel like she cannot get nominated here, and it could go to someone else, but the other 4 I feel confident in. I feel extremely confident though in lead actor. I feel like these 5 just automatically have it locked in. It's going to be between Jeremy Allen White, Bill Hader, and Jason Sudeikis for the win. I feel like that's going to be really interesting race. I don't know which one I would vote for. Probably Bill Hader, Jeremy Allen White. I don't know. It would be really hard for me to pick between those two. And then Steve Martin and Martin Short are just like, I'd be very surprised if they missed. Like, those 5 just make sense, and especially when you look at anyone else who could get nominated, I'm like, I just don't see it over these 5. I am really interested in seeing who will win supporting actress in a comedy series. Could it be Shirley Ralph repeat? Maybe. Could it be Hannah Waddingham, because it's the final season of Ted Lasso? She's already won. Could it be Ayo Edebari, who's really good in The Bear, who would be deserving? We shall see. But I feel mostly confident in these. The only one that I'm not is Sarah Goldberg. I feel like I would not be surprised at all if she is snubbed, because she was snubbed for season 3. She got nominated for season 2, but was snubbed for season 3, and that made me very mad. One of my most mad about Emmy snubs from last year, but she's amazing in the show, and it being its final season, I really hope she gets a nomination, and I still think she has a really good chance, so I'm gonna go for it. Now, for supporting actor, I don't exactly know who's gonna win just yet. Like, I have Brett Goldstein at my number 1, as you see on here, but that's more because I feel like he's the most safe to get nominated, because, you know, he's won twice, but I don't actually think he's gonna win for this season, and so yeah, we'll see. I feel honestly pretty confident in these 7. It's kind of sad that, like, it is interesting that Brett Goldstein is the only one from Ted Lasso, when lots of times they've gotten multiple people in, but also, like, I feel like the limited ballot that they have this year instead of the unlimited in these, like, categories is actually going to hurt Ted Lasso in these supporting categories, because you can read all the rules about that, and that kind of explains why I don't want to explain it. But yeah, it is kind of sad that Phil Dunster probably will not get a nomination, because he was my favorite. Like, Jamie was easily my favorite character this season, and I feel like he did a really great job with his performance, and I would love to see him getting an Emmy nom for this show when lots of the supporting actors have. But I feel like, I feel like they would have, if they really loved his performance, like, in general, they would have given him one for season 2, because he was, like, really good in that season 2 and, like, did have a lot to do, and they did nominate a lot of Ted Lasso boys for season 2, but he was not one of them. So I just don't think it's happening, especially when you have this 7 that I just feel more confident in. So yeah, those are my predictions for the Emmys. I'm very excited to see who's going to get nominated, and I'll definitely talk more about the Emmys once the nominations come out, and I'll try to watch, like, as many of the shows nominated as I can, so I can have, like, really good opinions on all these shows and performances and stuff. And yeah,